Welcome back, everyone, to Therapy Sessions. We're going to call it episode 15. We might even call it episode 14 and a half because we are coming to you basically live right after the Bears' epic comeback win against the Packers in overtime. And Chris, let's start it out with the cheers. Cheers. Bears
Cheers.
beat the Pack. Epic win. Take a sip. We are on cloud nine. Chris, give me your thoughts. Yeah, chug that beer. There we go. There we go. We got our first chug on the pod. Shout out to Brian McLeod for
Penrose.
that idea.
Um, Man, it's a lot. I just gotta say, and you know you're never sure, but you're sure you could be right if you held yourself up to the light, and the embers never fade in the city by the lake, the place where you were born. Believe, believe in me. Believe, believe in the resolute urgency of now. And if you believe there's not a chance, tonight, tonight, tonight's so bright. Tonight, Nick. The Bears did it. They exorcised the demons. They put the Packers down. They bury Green Bay, and they exorcise 30 years of demons. Oh,
Insane.
give it to me, Nick.
Insane. Lee Corrigan, a poet smashing pumpkins tonight. Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. There's so much to unpack from this game. There's so much for us to talk about. Chris and I have been just, I don't know, just pure elation for going on an hour now. It's almost an hour after post game. We were trying to go live for you guys. We were hoping to do
Yeah,
that. We couldn't
couldn't
get the
figure it out.
logistics. Yeah, we couldn't get the logistics. We need our IT. Our IT manager
Yeah,
isn't working this late. He has
I,
the weekend off.
I have to pour my backup beer now.
Okay, I got one too.
Um, Nick, we're gonna have to figure out an IT guy for the Super Bowl, but I just kind of want to start with that's one of the great Bear games of my life.
Yep.
When I think of the great Bear games of my life, I have people like texting me. I can see on the screen about doing the show. It's funny. It's 2001. It's the Browns and the 49ers in back-to-back weeks. It's 99,
Yep.
The Walter Payton block kick. It's the Bears who are who we thought they were. And it goes a while, right? For
Yeah. Yeah.
it's probably, it's the Super Bowl run. Within the last, 15 years, it's probably in 2018 when they beat the Packers for the division. I think my mom caught me crying in the backyard of her house after that game. I had a lot going on. At that time. But
Yep.
when you consider the stakes, the stage, the meaning, this was a playoff game. Nick, if the Bears lost this game, they weren't going to make the playoffs. And for the way for that game
Yeah.
to unfold, right, is just epic. And I think I texted you earlier today, but our children are living a new kind of future and tomorrow, with this team. This is different than what's just been here for so long, right? And man, it's going to be a fun ride. I don't know where this goes, but I would also like to just say that Green Bay team, man, went out on their freaking shields, man. That team, that's a hell of a team. That team is full of warriors, and dude, I hate them and they suck. And you know, I'm glad that we beat them, but that was extremely impressive. And if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you should be extremely proud of that team. When I was saying last week they were like the 2012 Bulls, they're like the 2013 Bulls. Like with Joakim Noah running point guard, right? The Bears, they're down their top pass rusher, their top receivers, their top offensive linemen. The Bears hurt both their quarterbacks, and they just kept playing. Matt LaFleur is a hell of a coach, and put a pin in this, Nick, but I think there's a decent chance he's the coach in Michigan in the next 3 months. Um,
Really?
there's some weird stuff. Yeah, he
Really?
didn't get a contract extension. There's weird stuff going on. I
Interesting.
think Michigan, they're going to get Larry Ellison to offer him like $25 million a year.
He's he's also been. It's interesting you say that because He's also been at Green Bay for a while now. I mean, isn't it like 7, 8 years now, almost?
Like 2019 maybe,
Yeah. So six,
something like
seven,
that.
6, 7, as the
Six.
kids say.
Please don't.
I
No,
think
cut that. Cut
I
that.
don't I don't think it's a thing anymore. My kids tell me that's not a thing anymore. So, but
Um,
you know what? For this show, you tell me. But for this show, I feel like we should do something special, and we'll break ranks from the typical grading process. We can hit the big ones in terms of grades, but I think it's just revelry, enjoyment, and just thinking about some of these massive plays and these turning points in the game.
Nick, I brought it up to you during the week. I think we got to do it. I said if the Bears win, you and I would get our fingernails painted in honor of Caleb. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I'll
I'm
do
in.
it. Hey, a deal's a deal,
A
and
deal's a deal.
we're gonna have our daughters do it, right? We're
My
having our
daughter is
daughters do it.
very small and uncoordinated, so we might have your daughter do it for both of us. But I think I'd like to alternate like maybe pink, blue, and orange. I don't know. Like I really want like the emoji with the nails. But I think we're gonna look good. I think
Yeah,
we're gonna look fire, man.
I think
The
so.
other ways we could just go to like a professional like salon and get like manicures, mani pedis together. Um,
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that, but then we're paying like hundreds of dollars just to have our nails painted, and I don't know if that's
so I'm not
something we're
gonna lie,
looking
I
to
had
do.
no idea it costs that much, and now we're just gonna have Mila do it.
Yeah.
Mila, I know you watch all our shows. Get ready, get your stuff ready. You're painting me and Nick's fingernails this week.
Speaking of Mila, I want to give her a shout out. My daughter, she asked me. She has gotten so into the Bears and the podcast and therapy sessions. She asked me to wake her up in the middle of the night tonight to let her know if the Bears won.
Okay,
Now,
have you done it?
I have not done that. Now
Let's do
I'm
it right
I'm trying
now.
to I'm trying to debate whether to do that
Oh,
as a
yeah.
good dad. Do I wake her
Bring the
up from her
camera.
slumber? Well, I can't. The camera's my computer, so I can't really do that.
Bring the computer.
How about this? How about this? I'll report back on the next episode.
All right. I'm
Does
starting
that
to
work?
feel that beer I chugged. Yeah, but also I would also like to shout out Charlie Fry's Mila. We have two Mila fans of
Mm.
this show for resisting
Yep.
the urge of being a Packer fan living in terrible, no good Wisconsin. Mila's unite.
Mila's Unite. Cheers to Charlie. Charlie's got great taste in naming his kids. Mila
Yeah.
is a beautiful name. And Charlie has been, let's give Charlie a shout out. Charlie has been a big supporter, big fan since basically day one. So, Charlie, we appreciate it. I don't know you. Chris knows you, but I feel
No,
like I know
I've
you. So,
actually
thanks for
never
your
met him in
support.
person. It's an incredible relationship of modern technology, but dude, thanks a lot. All right, actually, Nick, I want to go through the normal show itinerary now because it keeps us on track. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's grade the quarterback.
Okay. Before we do that, can I just ask us to do one thing?
Yeah.
Can we just really quickly just talk about how glorious those last 2 minutes of regulation and overtime were? Can you just paint me a picture? I want you to paint a picture for the
Okay.
audience. Where were you?
So
What were you
okay.
doing? And what was going through your mind?
So all week, um, I had kind of talked myself into based on the Packers injury report and the way this season had gone, and also seeing the Bears just demolish the Browns in person on Sunday, that the Bears were going to whoop the Browns or the Packers. Like I was telling you all day, I was posting all kinds of crazy stuff on social media, which I never do, getting all chesty, right? I really thought the Bears were going to blow them out tonight. Like I actually thought the Bears were going to beat the Eagles. So the week of Black Friday, I thought the Eagles had a weird vibe, and I thought the Bears might actually kind of smoke them, and they did. And I had a feeling like that this week, all week. Like I was all riled up. What was I texting you all day?
Blow them out.
Yeah, that's it. I thought the Bears were going to win this game 31-13, man. I thought the Packers were going to roll over and die based on just the sheer amount of attrition and also kind of based on what happened to them last year. We beat them in week 18 and they rolled over and croaked against the Eagles the next week. And I kind of felt like that might happen. Um, it didn't happen. This game opens
Yep.
up and I'm watching it with my kids in my den, my bear sanctuary. So all three of my kids on my couch, they're screaming. My wife is reading like these trash, violent romance novels. I can't even think of the author. The movie just came out with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. I can't, but she likes these. So she's like by herself. She's got like a glass of wine. She's peacefully reading, and I'm fighting three maniac small children in my den watching the game. They're chanting "Go Bears." We turn them away at the beginning. I'm freaking out. And then we get the ball back. We get the ball down on the goal line. And what happens, Nick?
Oh my goodness. The too cute play, the trying to snap it through
Okay.
Cole Komet's legs.
Nick, who am I watching the game with at that point? You know him very well.
Frankie. Frankie
And
Frankie the tank,
what
the man in the
position does
middle,
Frankie
our
play?
starting center for our football team.
He was horrified because he realized the center messed it up and he was devastated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, man. um, from there, I get the kids to bed. Um, my daughter, youngest, goes down early. I'm then laying in my son's room next to their bunk bed, like listening to the game on YouTube TV on my phone. And
Okay.
that's when, so I experienced the Jordan Love injury laying next to my son's bunk beds on an iPhone. And I saw it.
So were you
I heard it. I didn't see it.
you heard it. You didn't see it.
I heard the
I saw it.
collision and
I
then
saw it.
Tom Brady like audibly wince and I rewound it and I said, "Oh no." And then for a second I worried he might have been killed on the field. And I don't want that to ever happen cuz then the Democrats will take football from us. But I
But
was
we
I
love
was
all our fans
That's right.
regardless of their political
We love
leanings.
them all. We live in
Yeah.
Illinois, man. The Bears are here for now.
Yeah.
But
That's right.
I was for a second like somewhat concerned about Jordan Love's
Well-being.
physical well-being.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about it. Jordan Love's in the grasp. He steps up. There, is it dirty? Is it whatever? Booker's bringing edge to that team. Booker had already had I believe, an unsportsmanlike at that point. Um, Jordan Love lowered his helmet into that, right? That play comes from him being overly aggressive in the pocket, not defending himself. Now, on the flip side of it, like what was Booker's intent? Booker was looking to destroy him. And unfortunately, Jordan Love lowers his head, and then you have like a really unfortunate play. I don't know what happens with them the rest of the season or whatever. That's a devastating hit. They are now 9-5-1. Is that what's the record? 9-4-1.
No. I think it is 5. 9-5-1.
They're going to have to
Nine
make a
five and one.
business decision with him. On the flip side, Malik Willis in that system with that coach is effective, and it was. I mean, watching it real time, man. I was going through it. I was at pretty resigned to the fact that they were going to lose this game in humiliating fashion after I talked all day on social media about it. My friend Ryan Niedermeyer, I'm pretty sure, bet on the Bears, and he's a Packer fan. I think he bet a decent amount of money, and he was freaking out during the game about it. Um, he also wants to congratulate our friend Boudreaux on his courage. So thank you guys. But it was a difficult process, man. I get the kids to bed. My wife goes to bed around 9. I retire to my den where um, I start kind of going through the I
You
start
sound like
going
you
through
you sound
the
like you're in Clue. You sound like you're in a game of Clue. You retired to your den. You
I was thinking
retired
more
to the
Bruce
conservatory.
Wayne. Bruce Wayne, my
You
Batcave.
retired to the conservatory.
My house kind of looks like the house from Modern Family. There's just kids stuff all over, right? I only have one small space to myself, and it's this room, right? So it's like it's extremely me, right? It's the only thing I have in the world. Um,
Yeah.
and this is where I watch all my football. Um, but you know, I've said it before on these shows, but I have this feeling when they're down late with Caleb and the ball in his hands that I've never felt with a Bear quarterback, that this dude is so talented that he's going to figure it out. I texted you pretty late in the game that this was just like the Ravens game, and it really was. And it ended up being like the Giants game. Um, I mean, so, you know, the Bears turn it. I'm kind of in disbelief. Um, and then I'm starting to realize how whittled down the Packers are once they got to over. So let me ask you this, Nick. Would you have gone for two?
No, my initial instinct was yes to go for two, but you made a really good point.
You texted
And
me.
the point
you
you
said go
made
for two.
was you made a really good point. I usually like being aggressive in that situation. And I think 2 weeks ago, Ben Johnson would have gone for two at Lambeau. I think that's a
Yeah.
different situation, right? But this week, tonight, you're home. And not only are you home, but you're playing their backup quarterback who just got hurt himself. So that was the point you made. I think it's
Yeah.
a good one. And I think they made the right decision. The other good decision that Ben Johnson made was prevailing wisdom now. When you get into overtime and you win the coin flip, you always choose to kick. You always choose to receive second.
Yeah.
Because then you know exactly what you need, right? You know if a field goal is good enough. When you're on that first drive, that team that gets the ball first, they don't know if a field goal is going to win the game or not.
I texted you, and I don't even know what the overtime rules are anymore. I think you were asking me, do you kick or do you receive? I don't even know what it is. And if you're watching this show, Nick made a motion. We created this code when it's time for him to talk, but Nick, go ahead and hit it. So that is the Bears Selly. It is the Kobe Bryant waving off the triangle and going ISO.
Yeah, so
We're
Nick
going
Nick
behind
wants to
the
go
curtain.
ISO right now. Yeah.
Go ahead. You
Yeah.
got it.
Nick wants to go ISO. Let me go ISO. But no, you made me think of this. So you gave your kind of immediate reaction to those final 2 minutes and the overtime, and I'll just give my quick reaction. My reaction is think about the huge plays that were required down the stretch, and let's just start with our guy. He's been a favorite of the pod since the early days of summer camp, and that's Jade Walker. How about that,
Dude, I
catch?
thought you were gonna say Nation.
Well, Nashawn, we've already
We'll
we've
get to
given Nashawn his flowers. We've given Nashawn his
So
flowers.
the
But how
the
about
Jade
Jade
Walker, yeah,
That catch,
it
I
ends
thought
up
I thought I thought that was going to go over his head. I didn't think he was going to catch that. Give me your take on that.
it's very reminiscent of the game in Kansas City in the preseason where they're down to the starters and then Tyson Bagent brings it back and like Jade Walker takes over the last drive and it's what helps him make the team. Is he still number 20?
He is, and it's kind of
Yeah.
awesome actually. It looks weird, but it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
awesome.
You're gonna have to get him a new number next year. Zacchaeus will not be on the team next year. He is
No, no,
no. He had a horrific drop. He's making too much money.
yep,
But Walker is really good kind of. He's a undrafted rookie free agent, so you have him for the next 3 or 4 years. Um, he's a very good height, weight, speed. He's like 6'3", 215. He ran like a low 4.4, so he's like exactly physically what you want. He just came from a Texas A&M program that like did not throw the ball well. They got beat 10-3 today at 11 a.m. by Miami. His quarterbacks couldn't get him the ball. He's an interesting prospect, and he stepped up and he did the same celebration of the kind of the walking on air moonwalk thing that he did against Kansas City. That game was really funny because I think I told you about it. If do you remember the Kansas City game all the way back in the preseason?
Yeah. Yep.
My dad watches preseason games way different than me. He actually like hardcore roots for them to win no matter what and was like freaking out about how great it was. And I kept telling him that none of those guys in the fourth quarter were going to be on the team. And he ended up being right. Chris Jensen Sr., this one's for you. You and Mark.
There we go.
He watched the game in his brother's basement today. Which is really funny because that's where he watched the 2001 Browns game with the same kind of group of people. So that's really cool.
So tell him he cannot leave that basement.
No,
February.
Dad, you got to go to
End of-
Mark's house now for the rest of the damn season.
including until all of the postseason is done.
Mark,
Sorry, Chris.
I'll come
Senior.
over. Yeah, you got to go.
We'll
He'll
bring
grill for you.
We'll bring the pod. We'll bring the pod to
Yes.
you guys. How's that? We'll bring the pod live to you guys.
You guys got to go. Ultimately, I want it. So we'll talk about the end of it, but it's going to be through Caleb. So let's grade it. Let's go with the quarterbacks. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to grade Caleb through the prism of my experience of the last call it the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game. It's surreal, man. I mean, it's surreal that we're sitting here and we're talking. You almost have to pinch yourself that we're talking about a Bears win. They were losing that game 13-3 at one point. They were losing that game 16-6 with like 4 minutes left in the game. I mean, it's crazy. And this guy just does it repeatedly. He's Iceman. And he makes that throw to Jade that we just talked about. They kick the extra point. They go to overtime. The defense stops them. And what'd they do? I think they ran it once. I think he had an incomplete pass. And I saw a breakdown before you and I hopped on the recording tonight about how Ben Johnson set up that deep shot to DJ perfectly.
Please tell me about this. I've not seen it.
He had a 3, I believe he had a extra heavy, I believe he had a 3 tight end
So 13.
personnel. He had a 13 personnel. He ran a play action. It was, I don't remember who the running back was. It was either Monungai or Swift, obviously. He ran a play action fake to them. They sold the run like no other. The Packers bit, and it was one-on-one, DJ and his guy.
You know
and
who he was
that
against?
throw,
Do you know who covered DJ?
who was it? Please tell me it was Nixon.
Sean Nixon.
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, payback. Let me just finish that. That throw that Caleb made, incredible. To DJ, Tom Brady said it on the broadcast. He said, that is the throw of a lifetime. I mean,
I've only
that is
seen
coming
it live.
from the,
I can't.
that is
even
coming
picture
from
it.
the GOAT. You have to go look at it. The arc on
I
it.
know.
It was. I can't even describe it. When it left his hands, there was. It's almost like when I've watched so much baseball, right? I've watched so much football, but I've also watched a lot of baseball. You know, when you watch baseball, and you know how when you see a ball come off the bat, you know the angle, and you know if it's going to be a home run, right?
Yeah.
You can just
When
tell.
he let go of it, I
Right?
knew.
When he let go of it, it just had that velocity, that pop, and it had that perfect arc on it, and you just knew it was going to be a touchdown.
There's a play that it really reminds me of, and just kind of the throw and who it went to. Do you remember last year in your backyard when we watched the Panthers game and he hit DJ on that touchdown?
Yeah.
It was almost the same spot in the field. And that's ultimately what it ended up looking like. And I kept waiting for it to hit all year. I'll get to DJ and the receivers, but give Caleb a grade, Nick. Give it to him.
I'm giving him an A, man. I'm giving him an A. He won the game. Are you kidding me? I might as well give him an A plus. He won. That was absolutely ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
So I'm going to give Caleb an A plus.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We got to get him Dr. Dogs. Dr. Nick's dog of the
Yes.
week, man.
Yes. No question. Yeah.
Caleb Williams is only afforded basically 2.5 drives in the first half. And this comes from the Bears having long drives and the Packers having long drives. And there's not much you can do. You can't get a rhythm. He's down 2 of his top 3 receivers. And they are playing a pretty conservative game plan, right? So, the other thing with Caleb is because he's so turnover adverse, he doesn't have these meltdown games like Rex had, Cutler had. Mitch didn't, Mitch Trubisky's like one of the possibly has thrown the most passes ever in NFL history without having a pick six. Did you know that?
No.
Mitch wouldn't really melt down. He just wouldn't do much. And that's when the Bears and Caleb struggle, it's just like a lack of output. There was like a point in that game where he was at like a 40% completion percentage for like 110 yards. And it is weird because he's just playing a different game than all these other guys are.
His numbers were good. Too.
They end up good.
They end up good. He ends up with 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 81 QBR. That's a really good QBR, and a 99 rating.
QBR incorporates ground,
yeah.
And at the end of that game, he was really good. He was really good in his feet. It is an interesting dichotomy you watch in some of these games. So it's this game, it's the Giants game. It's a couple of these where he comes back late, where he is playing very much constrained within the system. And then when it's at the end of the game and all bets are off and it's Caleb Williams time, he is becoming the guy from USC. I got to watch the end of the game again, but the throws he's making to Jade Walker, to DJ Moore, I mean, this is it. This is what we've asked for our entire lives. And there's some of these things like no one else in the world is making. He's doing it against the Green Bay Packers on national TV to win the division. We've waited for this guy for our lives. He's here.
Yeah, he's here. And by the way, that throw to Jade, he was getting heated up.
I thought it was a throwaway.
I thought it was a throwaway. He was getting heated up like crazy. He was getting pressure. And to have the touch, and not only that, but anticipation. I don't think Jade was open at that point. He released it. Tom Brady even said, Tom Brady, I love listening to
awesome.
Tom Brady.
He's so good.
We've talked about it. We've given him his flowers. He's gotten so good. And you know what? Yeah. He is one of the few national guys to realize how darn good Caleb has been and is getting.
I'll bring up a point too. That could not have been an easy game for Tom Brady to watch because what team does he own?
The Raiders.
Okay. Are the Raiders having a fun time right now, Nick?
No, they're in hell. They're in football hell.
They're probably going to have to hire a new coach. And who did he try to hire?
Ben Johnson.
It's like watching your ex-girlfriend win prom or homecoming queen, right? Caleb Williams, the heroics at the end of the game. I've said it repeatedly kind of throughout the season that I've been waiting to see the USC Caleb Williams, and he is able to do it on this level. And the fact that he's able to do it in these spurts is eventually when we can marry that talent with more a higher success rate, completion percentage, and consistency, you are looking at a really, 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 really dynamic quarterback that may not have a ceiling in a way we haven't seen here ever.
Can I say I completely agree, and I'll say one last thing before we move on to our next spot. One of the big reasons this team is winning and is doing so well is this team. I looked at a stat after last week. The turnover differential for the Bears before this game today was plus 20. That is considered elite. Teams that finish plus 20 or approaching plus 30 is extremely rare. Extremely rare. The Bears have about 30 turnovers on defense that they've forced.
They got
Okay.
pictures for all of them.
They've got pictures in the locker room. We've seen that. Caleb has only turned the ball over, is responsible for only about 6 or 7. Again, I'm not going to go into the 6-7 thing. I won't do that to you. Okay. But that is a huge thing. The fact that they're plus 20. I heard some stat that teams that are plus 20, I mean, that has not happened very often to be plus 20 at the end of the day. Because you think about it, let's look back on a recent team that was dominant for the Bears. That was 2018.
Yeah, what was it?
That Chicago, it was bad. It was like, and it wasn't bad. It was it was good, but it wasn't elite. It was not comparable to what Caleb is doing and what this team is doing, because the 2018 defense had 37 or close to 40 takeaways. That was historic.
Mitch had 12 picks.
Trubisky, Mitch had 12. No, I think Mitch had
Probably
like
a bunch of fumbles.
15 or 16 fumbles. Mitch was giving the ball away like candy. Caleb doesn't do that. That is a huge difference in why this team is winning.
He did have 12. He had 12 picks. He had 6 fumbles. Yes. And I
Man.
believe they were like sack strips, which don't always show up in the box score. Caleb's,
So that's a huge.
the ultimate
Caleb
thing
doesn't
with
fumble the
Caleb-
ball. Caleb doesn't fumble
No.
the ball. Justin Fields fumbled the ball like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Caleb, one of Caleb's great kind of things that has transitioned from college to the pros is Caleb didn't turn the ball over in college. And that's what made Caleb such a ridiculous college quarterback, was the plays he made and the stats he put up, married with the lack of turnovers. And that's what like kind of were questions about Caleb is, can he play like that in the league and stay healthy and like not turn the ball over, right? Caleb Williams took 68 sacks last year. He's going to take like a quarter of that this year. And that was going to ultimately be the fatal flaw in his game, is like if that dude was unable to not take sacks like that or not have the pocket presence, he's dramatically improved that. The big thing for Caleb in the offseason of this year is going to be, so like last year it was cut the sack rate. Next year it's going to be increase the completion percentage, right? If you can get this guy to a 67% completion percentage in the offense they're playing, they're going to be very, 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 very good. Caleb Williams, you get an A+, man. To battle back, to make those throws against that team on that stage. Here's to it. A+.
Huge.
Caleb Williams,
Huge.
Chicago Bears quarterback 1, Heisman Trophy winner, first round pick. God bless you, Caleb Williams. Running backs.
Running backs were good. Running backs were solid. I mean, I was surprised they didn't run the ball more. Both your guys were pretty effective. You had Swift was very effective, I thought, when he was in. Swift had 58 yards for 4.5 per carry. And actually, Monungai, my guy, was even better. He was 50 yards.
He was awesome today.
At 5.6. He's just such a bruiser. He sets such a tone. And then Caleb.
Also, your
Caleb
second leading receiver.
Yeah, that's true. He had 43 yards receiving. That's pretty awesome. And then Caleb was very effective. What I liked on that last thing I'll say about Caleb, but it has to do with the rushing game. That last drive, Caleb, when he wants to turn on the jets and run, my goodness, is he fast. I mean, you've said it before, Chris, on the pod. The speeds that he is reaching when he wants to run is pretty wild.
Caleb is 6'1", 225, right? Probably in season you lose weight, he's 6'1", 220. That's a running back build, like kind of from like the early 2000s. That's what kind of makes him unique, is he's not small, he's a little bit short, but he's thick. I mean, he's built like a early 2000s running back. And there's some ruggedness to it, and there's like a lot of athleticism. And it's, I think part of the reason they're really good at the end of half and at the end of these games is ultimately when they have to score, he is so physically talented that he's not going to be denied on fourth and short or whatever because he can get the yards when he needs it when you combine the God-given running ability with that arm, right? And that's where it's like if you can keep this player within the structure of the coaching staff and the same system, like the ceiling is unlimited. But like with the running backs, I think Swift was limited all week, and I think he's got some banged up stuff. But that dude is running. He's running hard, and when you combine that with his raw athleticism with Monangai, who is a violent, violent runner, it takes a toll on the defense that does end up making a difference in games. So once again, we end up at the end of this game with 26 carries for 150 yards, 5.8 carry. They're there every week, and that travels. Um, they're not busting long ones, but they are hitting them for like really good success rate, and that does wear down teams. I mean, the Packers don't have a lot of guys left. I don't know what they're going to do these next two games, but I think a direct result of that, Nick, we talked about it last week about the teams that are doing the most physical damage on opponents in the league are the Bears and the Broncos, and the Packers have played them 3 times in the last 3 weeks. I think half the team is gone, and I think the Bears running game is a big part of that. I give them both B pluses.
Beautiful. Agreed. Receivers.
All right.
So with the receivers, we have DJ who led the charge. I mean, DJ won the game with Caleb. Cheers to DJ. We've talked
He had a
good
wild
amount about
game,
him.
man.
Ooh, was he huffing and puffing because they had him running those routes at the
That
end of the
penalty
game. And
he
was,
had where he didn't get set, I was going to lose my mind.
what did you again? We don't complain about refs on this show, but was that a legitimate penalty?
Yeah,
He looked
no,
like he
he
got
loafed
set
it.
to me.
No,
He looked like he got set. No,
he
okay,
loafed. No, and this is what I say. He's
okay.
not a detailed player. Is like that's an unacceptable thing for the highest paid player in your team to do. And then he got cheap shotted on the first drive.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah, it
like
was bad.
super unhappy
Who
about
did he
it. And
get?
if you notice it,
Who did he?
I
Who
don't
did he get
know.
cheap shotted by? Oh, I know.
I'd be interested. Was it Nixon?
It was Nixon, my friend,
Okay, great. That's great. I love that.
and
Well,
he beat his on the last play.
but on the whole rest of that drive, he was like really like making a show to hold his back. Like, did you keep seeing his hand like holding his small of his
I
back?
saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
and I'm
Yeah,
like, and I knew he was fine, right? Like, so just like if you don't know how NFL players work, these guys are gassed up before games. They're taking ungodly amounts of painkillers and stuff. He's fine. He's like kind of doing a show of it, right? Like for an example, like on that onside kick, Romeo Dobbs is like, I think it was Romeo Dobbs is like helped off the field or whatever. He's the one who blew it. He wasn't hurt, right? He was like
did he
just
screw
like
that? Did he
he
screw
was the
that
one, yeah.
onside kick up?
And
It
then
was he
he
the
was
one?
down on the field, and
Wow.
his feelings were hurt. It's if you make like a bad play like that,
Oh,
it's always kind of better to be like you're hurt.
poor guy.
DJ was like up and down. I was of the opinion I thought DJ was gonna have a really big game because this looked like 2023 where he was gonna be the only guy and have the ball force fed to him, and it like wasn't happening. Um, for him to come through at the end of that game, and really the last like 2 weeks, it's a big deal with the injuries at receiver that this team has. I don't know it's possible we don't see Rome again. Those foot injuries, it's a little bit like Jordan in 1984 or maybe 1985 in his second year. Like you don't mess with him with the stress fractures because you can screw the guy up for the rest of his career. It's what happened with Kevin White. So I don't totally know what's going on with that. And I think Burden maybe has like a mid ankle sprain. I'm not totally sure. I kind of think maybe the Bears thought they were going to kick the Packers this week and might have sat some of these guys. Um, but to go into that game with just Zacchaeus, you only have 3 guys. I guess 4 if you count Duvernay. Zacchaeus, man, I'm having a hard time having him on the field. Like the amount of drops he's had, which is crazy because he's a pretty good pro.
Put Jade ahead of Zacchaeus. I think Jade
I
has
just
earned it.
I don't know if you can do it just because he's like an undrafted rookie free agent. I don't know if he knows like really the
Just
playbook and
tied the
stuff.
damn
And
just tied the game, sent you to overtime against the Packers. Man, just do it.
there's so much more than that. It's the blocking, and it's actually the route structures, because like when you're running routes, like if you're not getting the ball, like a lot of your job is to get other guys open by clearing out zones and stuff like that. And like Zacchaeus is a hardcore like pro free agent. It's just like he keeps dropping the ball, and I almost think it's because Caleb's putting so much heat on these. He's not used to that. He's coming from like Jaden Daniels and like other guys with like smaller arms. But
Right.
the receivers ultimately it's a B, just because it's a B plus because of Walker and more at the end of the game. But I'll be very curious to see what happens with Burden this week. You need him.
Here, here's what I would say. I agree with you on the grade.
Yeah,
We're now closing in on an hour of recording,
keep it going.
and we're now past midnight, which is great. Hey, we got the sign on. We got therapy sessions after dark here.
After dark.
That's right. So what I would say, Chris, is let's focus on a few. Let's not go through all of the units. Let's focus on some units that we think are notable. So I'll let you pick. I'll let you pick the notable units from here on out that we grade.
Defensive line.
Not great. Not great, Bob.
If had they lost this game, it would have been on the defensive line. And
Yep.
this team, and it's a roster structural issue, is their defensive tackles aren't good enough. Grady Jarrett is old and is basically washed, and he's making too much money. Billings is like getting near 30, and is a one-dimensional run stopper, and Dexter is a little bit light for like what he's supposed to do. Dexter was drafted to be like a three technique in the Matt Eberflus defense. In college, he was like a stand-up five technique, like two gapping. He's like a man without a country. Um, he's okay, but this team desperately needs like a war daddy defensive tackle, and they don't have it, and it kills them on early downs. The defense is weird in that they're extraordinarily good on third down. It's where these turnovers are coming. It's where DA gets creative. Um, on early downs, they're giving up like too many yards on the ground, things like that. And when the Packers are forced to turn into a service academy because of injuries, um, Nick, Nick. Have you like? Do you remember watching Notre Dame lose to Navy over the past like 15 years? They've done it like two or three times.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
That's what these games would look like, where you have a team that's outmanned, but it's just mashing you between the tackles with a single wing 40s offense. And it's a little bit kind of what Green Bay was doing. Um, had they lost this game, it would have been on the defensive line. And it will be, I say it every week, it will be the limiting factor for this team of this year. But this team has an unlimited amount of resources going forward. They have all their money and picks available to them. What the Bears did with their offensive line last year, they will do with their defensive line next year. That being said, Montez Sweat ends up making a
Big sack.
critical play in this
Big
game.
sack. Yep.
What else about that sack?
I mean, wasn't that one of the last plays before we got the ball back?
He hurt Willis on that play.
Yeah. That's right.
It's
That's right.
possible. It's possible the Packers are starting like Brett Rippon next week. That dude got his collar, like, so I've watched a lot of football, and I know what collarbone and shoulder injuries look like. And when quarterbacks get hurt, it's when they go down parallel to the ground and their shoulders compressed together, right? And that's what happened to that dude.
Yeah.
He made a hell of a throw
Yeah.
to Jaden Reed actually in overtime, and you can notice his like throwing
Yep.
motion was different. Um, him and Booker end up making game changing plays, because so like we'll kind of get into it, and we talked about it earlier, but Booker just ended the Packers season in a Corey Wooden like fashion.
Glad you said it. Glad you said it. What does it happen to be an anniversary, Chris?
It's pretty close. I think
I
it was
think it
last
is
week.
the anniversary.
I saw a tweet
of
about how it
the
was like
Wooten. Oh, it was last week. Okay.
it was the 15th anniversary because it was not only that, but it was also the same week that the Metrodome roof collapsed. And dedicated listeners will
Yeah.
know we're discussing the 2010 Bears taking out on Monday Night Football the Minnesota Vikings led by Brett Favre, and Corey Wootton ending Brett Favre's career on like a minus 10-degree field in brutal fashion.
Which must
It
have felt
kind
like
of feels
concrete.
like that. This is a little bit what that
Yeah.
game was like, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So what's your next key position group? Think about the ones that were impactful.
We'll have to go to the coaching.
Okay. I like that.
What
I
do you give
like
them?
that.
Both of them.
Yeah, there were some early decisions that I didn't like from Ben Johnson. It pains me to give LaFleur his flowers, but early on he did. I think overall he did a good job. Early on he did a very good job, and especially
Really
when,
good.
and especially when Malik Willis came in, he did a really good job. He's a good coach. There's no question about it. But focusing on Ben Johnson, I really, really despise that play call in what
So
was it? The Bears' first drive through the legs of Cole Kmet. Go ahead. Yeah. Talk to
I
that.
saw I saw I believe on Instagram, Coach Dan Casey, who's like one of my favorite IG accounts. He's like a offensive football coach. He pulled up a play from the Lions last year on the goal line, and it was the same thing. Do you want to know what the play was supposed to be?
Wasn't the video he shared, wasn't it like a
What
snap
did
to
you see it?
Montgomery and it was like up the gut? Yeah. Was it
Goes
like right up the
through
middle?
Goff's legs, but then Goff pretends that he fumbles the snap too. And then Montgomery walks in. That's what the play was supposed to be. Remember Stumble Bump?
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do.
What was that, fourth down? Yeah, it was. It was fourth and one.
Yeah. That was fourth down. Yep.
I would have
Don't like it.
I would have bet
Don't
you
like it.
anything. I would have bet you anything in that situation he was going to an offensive lineman eligible like Theo Benedict in the end zone. There was on the first DJ Moore touchdown pass last week. Did you know that the first read on that play was Benedict, but he got cut?
He got cut block, yeah.
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 Um, you know, that that could have lost like that's if you remember Matt Nagy, remember Santa's sleigh and stuff like that, he had a proclivity for those trick plays. Um,
Yep.
we'll see where they go, but like man, that was a tough one and you could feel the stadium deflate. My son is devastated because it's a bad snap. Um, but to his
Yeah.
credit, you know, Ben Johnson is not only like such a good play caller, an elite play caller and play designer, like you talked about setting up and sequencing that shot in overtime. But I think he's winning some of these games Tuesday through Friday and instilling a
Yeah.
belief and a toughness of his team. So like Nick and I are doing this directly after the game. I've had several beers. I've spent all day with my kids. I'm smoking a pork shoulder right now. I haven't seen any of this game after. I haven't seen any of the reactions or whatever, but I'm sure there was an epic locker room deal, right? And when they
Good
had like
good better
club
best.
dub,
Good
yes.
better best. Yeah.
Do you remember when they would do club dub, like when they had like when they were like 4-8 and no one was into it?
Yeah. It was horrible. It was pathetic.
Um, this man has instilled a professionalism and a belief and a mental resilience and toughness in this team that hasn't existed since Lovey. And
It's insane. Yeah. It's
to
it's insane.
combine,
To beat the Packers. To beat the freaking Packers.
we beat the
My
Packers,
goodness.
Nick. I just freaked Walter
It's
out.
insane. It's insane. but not only did we beat the Packers, but we beat the Packers in this magnitude of a game.
This was a playoff game.
With,
It was a
with,
playoff game. It really
this was
was.
a
They
playoff
showed the
game
stat.
with with the adversity that had faced this team in the middle of this game and at the end of this game. I mean, that's just insane.
There was
That's
a stat
insane.
where they showed it at the end of the game in the fourth quarter where it showed both teams are the same stats. Either team that won had an 85% chance of winning the division, and each team that lost had a 14% chance of winning the division. This was a playoff game. And
Yeah,
this was a game
yeah,
that they lose
yeah.
against the Packers for my entire life. Right.
You know what
And
the
for
stat
this
is? You know what the
coach,
stat is, Crit?
tell me.
They lose this game 99 out of 100 times.
Oh, are you talking about the win percentage at the end of the game?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. In our lives,
Yeah.
in our lifetimes, they lose this. If they played this game 100 times, they would lose it 99 times. But we just witnessed the one.
Do you think it's because we started this show?
I think we've created a wavelength in the ethosphere. If
My
that's even a word,
father-in-law,
I
my
don't know.
father-in-law called me directly after the game, and usually when he calls me, it's like something terrible's happened. Somebody's died, or I forgot something, or like the kids are at the his house and there's no diaper bag, something like that. And and we were kind of he's like a huge Blackhawks fan, right? And we were kind of like talking about it and how much fun this thing is going to be over the next couple years with the age our kids are, and to marry this coach and this quarterback, right? The big question with Ben Johnson was everybody knew that he had the play calling and the tactical stuff, right? The stuff on paper, but it was, is he like a leader of men? There were whispers that he was like a dork and that this guy was like closer to Trustman than Ditka. And for him to combine this leader of men stuff, which is not easily qualifiable or quantifiable, with the elite X's and O's stuff, means that you have a guy here that we haven't had in a very long time, married with an exceptionally physically talented quarterback. And God knows where this goes, but we're going to do it together, me and you, and as an audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And one thing I heard on the score 670 here in Chicago, give them a
He
shout
did the
out.
6-7 again. He did it again.
Again, I just can't stop, guys. They had Mike Martz on, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about this, Chris? Did you hear about this interview? They had Mike Martz on. He told 670 the score. Mike Martz, by the way, is like famously curmudgeonly and kind of negative, and he doesn't say a
Tell
lot of
Mike I
positive
said,
things.
tell Mike I said F you.
Yeah, he doesn't say a lot of positive things about people or touchy feely. He doesn't say things just to say things, and he sure as hell doesn't sugarcoat things. He told 670 the score that Ben Johnson is a once in a generation coach, that the Bears hit a home run, and that number 3, they're destined for greatness with him. I mean, those are big words from a coach that is traditionally he does not speak like that usually.
Right. Ben Johnson has a lot of these concepts, and they come from a similar lineage. It's coming back. He's like a grandson schematically of Mike Martz. Mike Martz is a disciple of that, and what it is it's pure progression. So you're not
Right.
actually reading
Right.
defenses. You have a defined progression 1, 2, 3, 4, but then also you're not throwing to an open receiver. You're throwing to a spot in the field, and you're predicting based on timing that the receiver will be on that spot. So it's huge overs and deepens and big crossing routes, things like that.
Yeah, so it's exactly it's just to add to your point and actually to ask you a question. Is that in line? How does that jive or how does that mix with what Philip Rivers has said about didn't he say something about pure progression or quarterback
About
play or something
Cousins.
like that? Cousins, sorry, Cousins. What? How does that mix? Is that what Cousins was touching on, or was that a different type of concept or a different type of play?
So football is really cool because things are always cyclical. They come back, they come in, and they never really leave. And defenses are always chasing offenses. Offenses are always changing defenses. As one thing becomes popular, things adjust, right? Um, so like kind of the history of the last 25 years of offense and defense, like if you watch a 2006 Bears game, they're actually kind of doing a lot of the things they do now. But if you watch a 2015 Bears game with Adam Gase, so 10 years ago, Jay Cutler, Adam Gase, they're in shotgun the entire time. They're all spread out. They're playing 3 and 4 receivers. And there was like a thinking in the middle of the last decade that this is where football was going to go, and it was going to be because of concussions and the concussion lawsuit, that they were going to make the game more wide open, more pass friendly, less physical, because the NFL was in the midst. Remember the movie Concussion with Will Smith? Tell the truth.
Yep.
Tell the truth.
Yep.
There was a worry that and football would die out. Like a lot of the states, a lot of blue states were having football die out by like 30-40% of participation. That includes Illinois, California, the Northeast. This is 10 years ago. Football was facing like an existential crisis because of the concussion and CT issues. And because of that, the league started changing a lot of rules. They started really encouraging less of a running game and more of a controlled, quick, spread out passing game. So what happened with this as offenses did this, defenses got smaller. Linebackers became 6 foot 220. Everybody spread out. But then what happened over the past 5 years behind the resurgence of the Shanahan offenses and the Dan Campbell offenses is as defenses got smaller, offenses countered back by getting bigger and running against that. And that's where we are now. So when Kirk Cousins was talking about pure progression versus reading out, is he's talking about what Matt Nagy and the West Coast and what the Philadelphia Eagles, Matt Nagy, Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, is that you would call man beaters to one side of the field and zone beaters to the other. And based on what the safeties were doing, you could tell if it was man or zone. So if it was a zone defense, you would throw to the zone side, the zone beaters. If it was man, you throw to the other. So you're guessing based on the safeties. The guys were doing that for like 4 or 5 years. So that's been scrapped because Vic Fangio came in with the 2018 Bears, and now everybody's disguising coverages. Nick, who's the king of disguising coverages? He's in our division.
Flores.
Okay. So if you're against Flores, the way that you beat disguising coverage is you do pure progression. You're not reading defenses at all. You're going to the first, the second, the third, the fourth read. There was a play in the first quarter, I think in the first half, where Tom Brady highlighted Caleb looking left, and then right on the backside dig. Do you remember that?
Yep. Yep.
In that play, Caleb is going through his first read, his second read, it's not there. He's turning his head and he's hitting the X receiver on the backside dig, right? So that's what they're having him do. And it is like from the 90s, but all football is cyclical. So that's what that is. It's very cool. And if you're a dork and love that kind of stuff like me, it's a cool thing to watch. It's possible the Bears don't play their starters in 2 weeks.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I think we're at a good point here because I got to go smoke. Nick and I bought Al Capone
Sure.
little
Sure.
cigars for the tailgate, and I still have them. And I'm gonna go out and smoke one to celebrate. But what we talked about the division odds. Do you know what the Bears division odds
Yeah.
were week 1?
No. No. Enlighten me.
1%.
Insane.
Go Bears!
Go Bears.